Hey everyone, I'm at this is Tahquitz Creek Golf Resort in Palm Springs. I was closer to the practice green, but someone came down, so I don't want to disturb them. I came over here because this lesson doesn't really need me to be near the green. So now, before I get to my chipping technique that's going to revolutionize chipping, in my mind at least, and for all of you, so before I get to my what I consider revolutionary technique for chipping, I need to make sure that people understand certain fundamentals about how to control the radius and what affects the radius when we chip. So I'm going to do these one at a time, and this first one is, you may have heard about it, but we're going to need to go over it because it's very important. So the first one, which I will call number one, radius killer. So the radius obviously comes from a fixed point, and in chipping we want that fixed point to be very steady, whereas on a full swing we can afford to move our what I call the swing center. So basically there's two centers of your swing in golf. There's one where your belt buckle is, and one basically the center of your chest. Some people say it's your armpit. We're going to say, for the sake of this, that the center of your chest is the swing center. And when we swing a golf club, when this center goes forward, this center goes back. It's just a way of balancing, and that's not going to really be important in chipping. In chipping, we want to keep these centers very stacked. So just like you're standing, we want to keep this center and this center on top of each other. Now, when we chip, chipping is basically a shortened version of a full swing. So when we swing a golf club, when we get down near impact in a golf shot, our right leg is basically out of the picture. There's very little going on from our right leg. It's all revolving around this front leg, hip, and this pivot point of the left hip. So what I want you to understand, because when I give you this incredible technique for chipping, which is going to completely blow you away, you need to understand certain things first. So the weight should be pretty much almost 100% on your front leg. Now that's going to depend. If you're on an uphill lie, you obviously can't have all your weight forward. It would be physically impossible. But for general purposes, we want our weight on our front leg just as if we were hitting a full shot, and we need to learn to rotate around this left hip. So most of the chipping is done rotating around this left hip. So now going to the swing center, so the center of your chest, basically, when we swing a club, the club is going down. When it reaches the center of your chest, it's going level, and when it gets past the center of your chest, it's going up. When we hit a driver, we have our center back, and we swing up on it. In chipping, we never really swing up on a chip. We might, if the ball was, say, sitting way up high in the rough, and we didn't want to hit down and catch it real high on the face, we might actually want to catch it along the upswing. But for most purposes, chipping is done on the down part or the level part. Or very level, very close to level. So this swing center basically determines the descent, the trajectory of the club into the ground. So when we set up, we want our weight forward, and we want this swing center to be pretty much over the ball. And you could get away with it being past the ball, honestly. So if it's past the ball, we're going to catch a little more on the downswing. So my center is, I can see it's a little past the ball. Now this is actually a slight downhill lie, and I'm going to do uphill lies, downhill lies, and all that. On a downhill lie, we definitely would want the center. If we hung a plumb bob, we would want it past the ball. And that's going to be an upcoming video. This is going to be a comprehensive short game instruction. I'm going to cover uphill lies, downhill lies. But for a flat surface, we basically want this center to be over the ball. And that will ensure that this club is going to catch the ball in the downswing. And like I said, we could certainly get away with getting that center past the ball, in which case the club, and that was hit really crisply, is going a little more on the downswing. So center should be over the ball or slightly past the ball, and that will ensure that we hit the ball on the downswing. It will also ensure that we don't hit the ground first, because when the club reaches our center, it's basically going to hit the ground. Now the chipping motion is very much around this left leg. So as we pivot around this left hip, our center stays over the ball. So I'm going to pivot and chip like that. So I am pivoting around this front leg. So that's the swing center. And this is really important, and this is something I learned that really has helped my chipping. The pivot in chipping should be very much like this. As I pull my arms up and down. So you can see my shoulders are turning and I am side bending. In other words, my sides are scrunching. So the turn in chipping should be like this. Like say I had 2 kettlebells and I'm lifting them, or pulling on a lawnmower. I pull on a cord. And what that does, it keeps me very centered. So I think this is my pivot is these arms. It's a very centered type of pivot. There's very little movement, because any movement off the ball, or if we try to say turn, so if I just turn, you can see my center is going back. To keep that center there, I need to go like this, like I'm pulling. So I'm going to pull, and I pull back, and I pull through. That was perfectly struck. Very centered motion, like that, all going around the front leg. So that is very much a radius killer. If this swing center, so that basically is covering the radius of the swing on the downswing. It's controlling where that, if you had a perfect radius, say you had a perfect radius, it's controlling how that radius interacts with the ground. If that perfect radius, if my center is forward, that radius is going to be going down into the ground. And now I could put my swing center back more, because it's a really good lie here. And I could put it back, and I'm going to catch this, and it was beautiful. It was perfectly struck, and it was just higher. But that was a perfect lie. So in future videos, I'm going to explain to you how using your swing center to control the descent of the club will be really helpful with certain lies. If I have a really bad lie, I want to catch it more on the downswing. I want to get my center forward, and that club is going to go down, which it did, and you'll catch much less grass between the club and the ball. So that's radius killer number 1. And this is the first thing you need to learn. And let me tell you right now, understanding the swing center will not perfectly control your radius. You need to follow these videos, because there's about 3 or 4 of them, and the last one, when we wrap this all up, is going to be like the coup de grace of understanding how to chip. And this is the thing that I have figured out that I haven't heard anyone talk about. And this is the reason why it's unbelievable. It's literally the secret to hitting a chip, where it gets to where it's just almost easy to hit a chip. So like, subscribe, and comment. And please share this video. If you know someone who's a bad chipper, share the video, because if these videos aren't getting views, I'm going to wrap all this up and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to put it on Gumroad and sell it, because if YouTube isn't putting these videos out, I might as well make some money off it, because I've spent my entire life developing what I've learned here. So that's that. So that's radius killer number 1, and the next ones will be coming up. And this is going to go into, I'm going to be talking about understanding bounce, how to open the face, when sometimes to close the face, everything you could possibly imagine about chipping. And I'm going to do sand games, bump and runs, everything. All right, so that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you next time.